Yo, welcome back. Nah, that's not it. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy. Um, what if I move this here? You can keep planning, and if you keep planning, you never do anything. You're never actually going to be ready to do that thing when it's time to do that thing. But sometimes when you don't have any knowledge, you're just like, yo, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna just do this how I feel like I should do this and how I think I. Then you do more things, but if it feels like the more I've learned, the less I've done, the less action I've taken, and you just gotta. All right.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Crap out of me. I just got back from a vacation. I went on a cruise with my family and some friends. It was a good time. I had a blast. I was super excited going into this trip. I had planned on making a super dope video. I had gone through a bunch of scenarios and double and triple checked which gear I was going to bring, and just made sure that every possibility of getting cool shots and making a cool edit would come into fruition. You know, we had a room with a balcony. I reviewed the best scenarios for certain lenses. I realized that my tripod has one of the legs you can screw off and turn into a monopod. So I realized that and was like, oh my gosh, like I can bring my monopod and get steady shots instead of having to bring the whole tripod, and I can cut down on the amount of weight and how much gear I have to carry around, and it'll be easier. And then when we got on the boat, I took a couple laps around the boat just to see like where good angles and shots might be at, and see where the lenses I would need or would want to use would work in which lighting and scenarios. So I just tried to get as much information as I could to hopefully get the best footage I could, to hopefully make the best video I could. And then I didn't end up filming a whole lot, which is wild considering even besides the planning I just talked about, the things I considered and efforts I put into action. Besides all that, I was really planning for this video, for this cruise, and for this project for over a year now. I mean, the planning for this started last year when I was about to go on my very first cruise ever. I did little to no planning for that. I forgot to pack some of my batteries. I forgot other pieces of gear. I didn't really know when to use lenses and was using the wrong lens at the wrong time. At one point, we had docked and we were going to check out one of the islands. And as soon as we took a ferry to the mainland, I took out my camera, I got one shot, and, it died. And then I looked at my bag and realized, oh, I didn't pack any of the batteries for the rest of the day. So I'm just looking around all this gear, no camera. I guess at some point I forgot to charge my microphone, and so none of my clips have sound. So that's also amazing. And then there's little things like messing up shots because I didn't know which way to turn the lens focus, and just being a little bit too late, not being prepared to record at a moment's notice. Little things like that I guess you just get better with experience of like seeing like, oh, I'm going to want to capture this, or this is one of those things that I missed before and I know I don't want to miss that again. There's things I guess you get with experience, but I just didn't have it at that time. Ultimately, I came out of that vacation feeling like I had failed in my venture to make a travel vlog or video. But even though I had failed, I thought that, with the collection of clips I had, there's no reason I shouldn't make some kind of video. So I still tried to make something out of it. I made a cool little edit with some inspirational non-copyright music behind it. I left some black spaces where I was going to cut in me reciting some monologue. And I started trying to write the actual monologue, and I realized I had no idea what I was trying to make this video about. There was no central theme to my travel. There wasn't a plot line to really follow in my journey on this vacation. There was the character arc. It was just me living my life as I normally do. So it was hard to make something fit under this inspirational guise of here's why you should travel or whatever the video was supposed to be. What had started with a video about my cruise experience turned into a video where I planned to announce a commitment to traveling and vlogging. And then life checked in and said, hey, what are you talking about? I mean, you can decide that, but you need resources to fund these trips and to fund. You also need PTO, because you work. And then it also just kind of settled in, like, even if I went to the wildest of places, if it's left completely up to me, I'd probably spend far too much time in my hotel or Airbnb, wherever I was staying, because I like to stay in. So this kind of caused the video to evolve into a broader video about travel. Just, hitting the usual beats, open your mind, expand your worldview, mature, change your life. Things you've heard from every student who traveled abroad and ordered their Starbucks in Italian for a semester, those kinds of things. The post-travel blues, the at times jarring snapback to reality, the lonely descent to the tarmac, falling with style from Cloud 9, all that good stuff. But by this time, 6 months had passed. The idea, still an idea, but now the idea could be a commitment, a promise, a responsibility, a resolution. My New Year's resolution was to start documenting my life better and traveling more. Wait, hold on. I think that wouldn't, because life. Anyway. And now we're here. Where's here? I've learned a lot since last year, but when it came time to put the skills to the test, I didn't feel like it.
No, I don't really feel like it.
Why? Because I didn't actually care about the video I was making. More accurately, I didn't even know what I was trying to make. I'm essentially making this video because I successfully bullied myself into believing the first draft I made last year was no good. But in retrospect, it was pretty decent. It was heavy on the hope core towards later revisions, but I remember looking back through the footage and being genuinely amazed and proud of some of the shots I got. Even some of the beginner color grading techniques I applied to make things look better or whatever, I did a good job. I realized I try to stay away from making stuff like this because ultimately I end up just trying to make an edit to a nice sounding song more than anything. That thought process can quickly take over a project, shifting the focus from telling a story about something that interests me into making a video that matches the vibe of the final song that will have a nice edit alongside it. I think it's easier, at least I find it easier, to come up with a 3-minute edit with a deep theme, something like discovering yourself while you travel and then letting the rest of the material fall into place within that message. But if I want to share my personal experience and say, focus on how I fumbled the bag with a beautiful woman on my travels, then I don't want to have to force the idea and interest I have into a box of this will be inspirational, just wait for it. There are so many classical and orchestral? There are so many classical and orchestral instrumentals that will make moving sequences and evoke emotions. But golly, you gotta pick your shots. If you have to make 10 videos on finding yourself and unlocking creativity, saying the same thing in different ways, you're shortchanging yourself. You're making something that you know will make someone feel a certain way based on an understood line of thinking, instead of trying to relay how you really felt about something and letting people tangle with your thoughts and experiences. Maybe the project flops and nobody really gets what you're trying to say. Maybe there is no light at the end of the tunnel for the story. Maybe the bag is just fumbled. There's no going back and changing it. Why am I stuck on this? Now, do I want to make travel videos? Yeah. I mean, I think they're cool. Get to see cool places. I don't want to make them like a main focus, but I enjoy traveling. And some of the experiences I'd like to be able to capture and save or share with others. Basically, I don't want to count it out. So if you have the opportunity to make something that makes you feel proud, the chance to make something that makes you feel fulfilled, and it isn't illegal or immoral, that's really important right now, then do it.
Look at the chickens.
Yeah, I think you've caught me. I tricked you into looking at my vacation photos. Honestly, I just wanted an excuse to make something, and this has been sitting in the corner of the room in my mind like a sleep paralysis demon waiting for me to blink, and I figured it was time to get this fridge off my back. So, and just for the heck of it, threw in some Hope Core.